Hello, hello, gorgeous NFA Money Mamas. Welcome back for another episode of the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast. It's time today for a biz breakdown session. And I'm so excited because I have a lifestyle and fitness badass. That's my title for her. After I went and looked at her website and all the cool stuff she's doing in the world, I was like, oh my God, she is so awesome. So excited to have Ashley Soro on. And we're going to talk about her history of building her business, the things that she's thriving, and then ways that she has some stuck points like we all do as we're building our business. We're going to talk about money blocks and manifestation and business scaling and all the fun stuff. But first, I want to remind you to go to the womanentrepreneurpodcast.com homepage. There you can get two things that are going to be awesome for you. One is either apply to do a biz breakdown session, just like the one we're doing today, or come on, and I'm just announcing this, for a podcast party. This is where 10 of you come on and we get to hang out all together. We're going to have a biz scaling conversation. You're going to promote your business and we're just going to have a grand old time. I'm so excited to build community around this podcast. And so it's your way to do that. So what you'll see when you go to the womanentrepreneurpodcast.com page is a link to go to the biz breakdown session or a link to go to the party. And you could do both. That's totally cool too. So just make sure that you go there, schedule. I'm limiting the first two parties to 10 people only. So if you are interested in that, you're going to want to go there right away so you can get into the very first one or the second one. So I can't wait for that. All right, let's get to it. Thanks for coming on the show, Ashley.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yay. We met on Instagram, everyone, by the way. You all know I love to hang out there. I'm playing more on LinkedIn as well, but most people, I'm like, oh, I love Instagram. I've always enjoyed Instagram. So it's a fun place to hang out. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're going to dig into all things in your business. But first, I want to know, if I gave you a magic wand and you could create whatever you want in your business in 2023, what would that be?
Let's see. So I have kind of a hybrid program right now I have online coaching, and then I also have in-person personal training. And I want to cap my in-person personal training so I have more time to build my online business. Mm-hmm. And then just more structure, because there's time blocking, yes, but it's not as efficient as I'd like it. Mm-hmm. And taking clients in different times, and it pulls me away from having one set day where this is always a content day, or this is always a call day with clients, right? I'm just trying to plug things in each week. So it's definitely not as efficient as I'd like it to be. So 2023, efficiency. The word, or I'll say words that I wanted to focus on for 2023 were aligned action. So if I want to build my online business, right, I want to be taking action to, not just make more money in my business, but make more money in my online business, because I do have my in-person training.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. That's really clear. When you say, so you want efficiency and you want aligned action, what's the result you're looking for?
So I had a goal, we're talking about money. So I had a goal to have my first six-figure year just within my personal business, because I was a part of a meal prep business prior to this during COVID. We had to pivot slightly from everything that was going on. So this has been the first year that I've gone fully into my business with not anything else kind of distracting me. Okay. And fiscally, we're on track to hit six figures. We'll say from June until this upcoming June, we'll hit the six figures. But realistically, I want to shoot a little bit higher. So 120, 2023.
Nice. Okay.
But again, I want that to be within my online business.
Okay.
Not mind overall. Yeah.
So 5-figure months in your online business.
Yes.
Okay. And currently, when you said you have a hybrid online, does that mean that you're doing some coaching in person plus online, or is it all online?
Yes. So I have online clients that are fully online. I have in-person training clients that are only in person. And then I have clients who do a combination of both.
Okay. And so right now, when you're talking about your first year and your full-time online, that means like solely online. Is that what you're talking about?
So first year, this is in person and online, where I don't have any other businesses that I'm a part of.
Okay.
Like, this is my main source of income.
Okay.
But for 2023, I want to hit 120 just with my online business.
Okay.
And whatever I do in person.
Got it.
Not, yeah.
And is that because you see the potential with the online to be faster growth? Is it because you enjoy that way of coaching more? Say a little more there.
It's interesting. When I'm around my people, I have a great time, but I love getting away and breaking off and being able to work from my computer in my house, at a coffee shop. I enjoy my work that way. But I need face-to-face, like you're standing right in front of me, I see you. But with that, you're obligated to be somewhere. And yes, online is a way to make more money. But I also feel like my online clients, they get a little more of me, to be honest with you. I'm more accessible because they don't see me in person. So there is beauty in that as well. My in-person training clients, they're not messaging me consistently. They come and they see me every week. So it's a little bit different there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so then, just looking, I'm thinking like, I want to see into your business really well. So when you do the online and you are having messages from your clients and you're doing training sessions, is that how it works when you meet?
So for my in-person clients?
No, for online.
Online. Okay. So the way that the online model works is you have a training program that I create for you. And then you go into my customized app and you follow the workouts every single week. You track your workouts in there. And then every single week you send a check-in to me. You'll you'll rate yourself on a scale from your sleep, your nutrition, whether or not you had your cycle. You give me all those details. I give you feedback every single week. We set up a monthly call. So
cool.
It's more interactive than just coming in and jumping into a personal training session.
Okay. Wow. That sounds amazing. Who's your 5-star client? Like who do you love to work with?
Okay. So if I'm being completely honest with you, I am very ADD. So the clients that understand me on that level, I think I work really, really well with. And then I'm also a recovering codependent. So I actually bond really well with other people pleasers because I think we relate on a certain level. And there's beauty for me in being able to change your mindset around, I'm doing this because it's going to make me better. I'm not doing it because I'm selfish. I'm doing it because I'm going to show up better for the people around me. Saying no is so much better for us because it allows us to take care of ourselves first, and then we're just better overall. So
yeah, interesting. Okay. My whole coaching journey started with codependency work on myself. Yeah, it was like, when I read, for me, it was the very first book. I stayed up all night reading this woman's stuff online. Darlene Lancer. Have you ever heard of her? So she wrote Codependency for Dummies. And, I always had thought codependency was about having alcoholic parents or something along those lines. And I didn't have that. So it's like, I never thought that I had codependency. And when I started digging into it, I'm like, oh my God, I stayed up all night reading. And then I drove to Barnes and Noble to get the book, because on her articles online, it had said check out my book. I went to get it. I devoured that thing and it was like written at me, it was like, wow, I never knew this is what was going on. So it was such a liberating journey to go, oh, I'm really I'm shaping myself through pleasing other people. That was my whole identity.
It means we don't have an identity.
Yeah, exactly. And you resent other people because, you're like, hey, I'm giving so much and I'm supposed to be receiving, but I don't really know how to receive. I don't even know how to state what my needs are. It's a very complicated situation that I think, especially in a service-based business, learning the win-win exchange is really important so that you're not over-delivering and undercharging and feeling like you got to give everything away and that kind of thing. Where do you fall on that spectrum right now? Do you feel like you're doing a pretty good job charging what you're worth?
I am a recovering overgiver.
Yeah.
It's hard, right? And I will, there were nights when I would go to sleep, worrying if I sent a message and I didn't get a message back. Oh my gosh, am I not doing my job? Am I not showing up? Am I not, going on the list of things that, maybe I should have done better. So now, no, I'm charging, in the online space. I'm charging what I'm worth in the online space.
Okay.
In person, I have 2 separate locations. So in my San Diego location, I'm at my price point. In my second location, I'm a little under because it's just prices around in this city. It's lower, but I know I need to be raising my prices.
Okay. Okay. And do you see that as the types of people that you attract aren't willing to pay it, or is it that you just aren't willing to charge it? I mean, usually those go together, but where do you see your stuck points there?
I think that, I think there's been a disconnect for me on, maybe not a disconnect. We'll say I have these it's basically 2 separate businesses. I have an in-person personal training and an online business. And so for me, being the ADD that I am, trying to focus on one and build one, while maintaining the other, it gets a little muddy for me, right? Mm-hmm. So when I was trying to push my online business, and then I looked at my in-person personal training, especially in this city, I wasn't going to the events. I wasn't, promoting myself to my ideal client, right? That can afford my prices, that's willing to pay that, right? That's not going to, ask for discounts consistently and not show up every single week, right? I wasn't actually putting myself out there to start attracting those clients. And because I was trying to focus on my online, really building my online business, I think that's where, so we'll say it was a slight disconnect, I think. Okay.
And where are you currently in that cycle?
Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. It's been online, but everything that I have done in the past to build my online business is not working for me.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I've been like, I want to scale, but it's not happening.
Okay. So let's dig into some stuck points. One thing I'm curious about, many things actually. So I'll say this first. Anytime we hear ourselves saying trying, we know we have a stuck point because it means we're struggling with something. So when we say like we're trying to do something, it already indicates a subconscious block there that we don't feel like it's going to be successful. And anytime we have a disbelief in our system, conscious or unconscious, it's going to cause resistance. And resistance is the number one reason that you don't manifest instantaneously. And so, notice in the places where you hear yourself saying trying, and just pay attention to that and start pivoting it and reframing to something else along the lines of, I'm learning to do blank, right? So you could say, I'm learning to build my online business. And up until now, I haven't figured it out, but I'm learning how to do it, right? So it's like making sure that you start to get conscious of those so you don't recreate the resistance. So that's one thing. Another thing, I do think it's interesting when people say, like, I have ADD, or, like that revalidation to yourself that you're unfocused. Is that 100% true for you? Are there places where you are hyper focused and really balanced and clear and strategic?
I laugh all the time because like my calendar, my business calendar, and then also my folders with my clients, like it is like pristine. I can find anything anywhere. And that's one area that like I have kept up with so well. And you could say that I'm disorganized in other ways. It's just the things that matter most to me. I will organize that, right? But you're going to go in my room and you're going to look in my drawers and you're going to be like, how the hell do you find anything in here?
Yeah. Okay. This is really important. I love that you said that. You said it so perfectly. Wherever you are, whatever's the most important to you, you will be the most highly organized. And my main mentor calls it selected. Instead of having attention deficit disorder, you will have surplus attention order.
I got it.
Okay. So one thing, and I'm careful about saying this because I don't know if you've been diagnosed with ADD or if you just say that to yourself. One thing that's really important there is to stop telling yourself that. Because when we tell ourselves that over and over, it's almost a justification. So it's like a self-sabotage strategy to tell yourself like, see, I'm not good at it because I've got ADD, right? Yeah. Or I've got this ADD type of focus. And the truth is, like you just said, what's most important to you, you said the word pristine, like, damn, that's good. You're organized. And so we want to stop telling ourselves limiting stories about ourselves. And, you're exactly right. In the areas, if you came and looked at my life, you'd be like, damn, she's organized in this and this and this and this. And she's really hyper-focused. And then there's areas where I'm just like, I don't care at all about that. And I don't choose to spend my time being organized in that way. Yeah. Right. So, we want to pay attention to telling yourself things that are keeping you playing small. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So is there a reframe there for you that you could think of instead of saying, because you've said it a few times. So I just want to point it out. And I've had women say this a lot. And I'm like, why do we tell ourselves it's justifying our limitations is what we're doing. Right. And you're a powerhouse, so you don't need to do that.
Okay. So in terms of like organization,
just instead of saying that you have ADD or like your ADD about your business, what could you say instead? That would be empowering.
I could say I'm hyper-focused on the tasks and we'll just say the task. I'm hyper-organized on the tasks that mean the most to me.
Right. There you go. And then anytime you notice yourself wanting to go back to that justification and excuse, you want to ask yourself like, oop, is that true? 100% true? Or do I just choose to be disorganized in this area? Which is also a feedback system telling you of the things that you aren't really aligned with your zone of genius. Right. So to me, zone of genius work is really powerful because when you're in your zone of genius, you will always break through fears. You will not procrastinate. You'll feel focused. You'll be in charge. You'll be on time. You'll be organized. Right.
Have you read The Big Leap?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I love that book so much.
Yeah. So, and I've recommended it here many times. So Big Leap, Zone of Genius, like this also combines with values work. So I combine it into your zone of genius values. And it's like, that's how you get into your zone of manifestation. So when I hear you saying there's one part of your business that's growing well, the other one seems to be stuck and stagnant. Mm-hmm. What you've got to start to determine is, am I off strategically or is it because it's out of alignment? And if it's out of alignment, we got to start making tweaks because and some of it could be a belief. It's hard to make money online. I don't deserve to make easy money. We could dig into that a little bit, but something's off. So for me, when things aren't flowing in any area of my business, I'm just like, I always ask myself, am I afraid? Or is it that it's out of alignment with my zone of genius? I always ask those two things because if it's that I'm afraid, usually it's out of alignment with my zone of genius because when I'm in my zone of genius, I'm not afraid. Yeah. Sometimes it can be a limiting belief that I need to break through and then test out and see if something shifts. But usually it's just that you go like, hey, something here is a little off. Maybe I don't enjoy building in this way. Maybe it's that I miss hanging out with people. And if it isn't off, that's cool. We just got to start telling ourselves different stories and go, okay, how could I be a badass at building my online business just like I have my in-person business? And then how can you tell yourself that you're strategic, organized, powerful in the same area, right?
Yeah. I definitely, I catch myself with my, what would you call them? My limiting self-beliefs. Mm-hmm. It's inadequacy.
Okay.
I think especially in the online space, I think that I subconsciously tell myself that, what I'm doing is not, anything different from what other coaches are doing, even though like in my heart, I know it is. I know that there's I have a strong willingness to understand my clients on a much deeper level that I think, a lot of coaches in the fitness industry overlook because I think it's so hyper focused on an aesthetic, on an image. Here are your workouts. Here's your nutritional program, follow it. And if you don't, you don't have discipline. There are so many underlying factors, right, that play into it. Myself included, right? My feelings of inadequacy will hold me back from doing the things that I really want to do. Where can we tap into that's going to, solve that issue? And that's where I come, very empathetically, understanding, compassionate. So my clients feel more comfortable, and then we're able to dive a little bit deeper. So
I love that. Okay. Name 5 places that you just shine, where you're like, I shine uniquely helping people here.
So let's see. So, my ability to connect, that's definitely top 5. My ability to empathize, to show compassion, to show up raw and vulnerable. And then I am I'm trying to think of a good way to explain it. I'm not a drill sergeant, but I'm not a cheerleader. I'm somewhere in between.
Okay.
So it's a positive encouragement. I think that keeps my clients wanting to keep pushing, not, feeling like they're, failing consistently.
Okay. So like, it's like it's the mix of support and challenge, right? Is what helps people grow. So optimal growth occurs at the border of challenge and support. So if you're overly challenging people, they get burnt out. Mm-hmm. If you're not challenging people at all, they're over supported and they become juvenilely dependent and nothing changes, right?
Well, and when I was deep in my people pleasing habits, I was too nice, right?
Yeah.
And things wouldn't change. But I was almost rebelling against I played soccer for like 23 years, and I had a lot of horrible coaches who just played psychology and just tore me down. So I was wanting to rebel against that, but I needed a middle ground. So my clients actually, move the needle forward.
Yeah, I love this. Okay. So when you're talking about the online space, these are superpowers you have, and it's likely, or under the law of attraction, it's who you're going to attract your way, right? Mm-hmm. So these are brilliant marketing strategies to use when you're talking about how to attract people into your business, online especially. So you said my ability to connect, my ability to empathize and be compassionate, to show up raw and vulnerable, and positive encouragement, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're talking to women, it's women you work with mostly?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So when you're talking to women, that's what they're looking for too, right? I guarantee you the reason they're attracted to you in the first place is because they're like, oh my God, she has this ability to connect. She's vulnerable. She encourages me in a supporting way. She empathizes with me. Yeah. It's like you said, you didn't say it, but it's like tough love. It's like, I love you, but I'm also going to be tough on you because I care about you growing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so those are the things you want to start marketing to and targeting toward, because those are your superpowers. That's your zone of genius. Mm-hmm. And so when you're in the online space, it's nailing those parts. And then, I want to know for you, like, what's the number one outcome that your clients get from working with you? Like, what would you say is the common thread that they say that they're like, oh my God, you've got to work with Ashley because of this?
Yes. The majority of my clients are women in their 40s, and they have basically lived their entire lives on a diet, on a diet, off a diet, on a diet, off a diet. And the number one thing that they walk away with is understanding that they can actually eat cookies. Like they can actually eat foods that they have completely steered clear from, because when you're on a diet, you're not supposed to touch any of those foods. But it keeps them in a binge restrict cycle that is debilitating, because you're miserable while you're dieting because you're not eating anything that you like. And then you're absolutely miserable when you're not dieting because you're recognizing that you're eating too much and then you're getting your weight back. So they walk away understanding that, there's a way to eat that they can still reach their goals, but they're actually enjoying their foods.
Okay. I love this. And I think that's a really powerful term, binge restrict cycle. Mm-hmm. And then also, understand you can eat what you want and still look and feel good. So I'm curious, when you're saying that the online space isn't working for you, what are the stuck points so I can help you there? Because to me, you have, women in their 40s struggling with their way that they feel about their bodies, struggling with what they're eating. I would imagine energy levels and those kinds of things. Like, you've got a vast marketplace, you know? So there's something stuck, obviously. So let's help you get unstuck so you can start attracting a ton of women your way. Cause it, you know, it sounds like you have awesome stuff. I want to highlight, you know, for anyone who's watching on YouTube, we're going to add her website to the stream. So she, first of all, you're just a goddess. Like, oh my God, such a beautiful website, such a beautiful images of you. And like, you're so powerful. Like, you can tell from these pictures, you know, I was scrolling through your website and I was just like, damn, she's awesome. That's why I said the lifestyle and fitness badass. So, you know, it's like, just, she's done some really cool stuff. She has amazing results. And her website, you know, she's talks about being a born athlete versus an ex-athlete, like really important topics that people are interested in. She's got videos, a TikTok that's growing, like all kinds of cool stuff. So if you aren't on YouTube and you're listening on the podcast, go to ashleysoro.com. So that's ASHLEYSORO.com, ashleysoro.com. Check her out. Like, wow, so much awesomeness. Just want to give you a shout out. Okay. So, you know, share a little bit about what feels stuck for online growth.
Absolutely. So, so I will backtrack slightly just to give you a little bit of context. I got into the fitness industry. I had been I'd been coaching young soccer girls for years while I was still in college, and I was playing soccer after college as well. And so I was always in that space of coaching. But when I couldn't play soccer myself anymore, I got extremely depressed. So training and being in that space was kind of awful for me. And I'm like, I can't do this right now because I really miss the sport. And what I didn't realize is that I just needed an outlet, which is why I became such an advocate for fitness in general, because I knew that I needed that outlet. And so then it led me into personal training. So end of 2017, going into 2018, I entered into the personal training space. So at that time, I just figured that I needed some type of, like I said, some type of outlet. Right. And then it turned into this career that was so fulfilling. Over the last, I think I want to say it's 5 years now. Yeah. I can't do math. So for 5 years, I have tried to build my business and be in alignment with everything that I'm saying. Right. But unfortunately, being in the industry, of bodybuilding and women's physique competitions, it's a very, very tightrope you're walking, and you can get dragged in directions that you don't want to get dragged into. And so for me, I became image obsessed, and I really lost myself in the process. And so, early last year, I started recognizing that, the things that I was posting, the things that I was saying, they weren't really in alignment. I knew that it wasn't in alignment deep down because it felt wrong, but I thought that that was the message that I was supposed to give. And so I went through this massive shift. I'm like, I don't know if this is midlife crisis. I don't know what this is, but a huge shift. And so I really had to take a step back, realign with like who I am, recognize that who I thought I was showing up as, I thought I was being authentically me, and I really wasn't. I was getting pulled in this direction. So this was like, we'll say probably early last year, February, March was when I really started feeling like myself again. I went through that, really depressive season, but I knew that there was a purpose, right? I knew that there was a reason why I did it. It's why so many of my clients, if they do have anxiety and depression, it helps them. So I know there was a purpose behind it. So there's my backstory. I know that was kind of a long backstory. So since then, so say about a year now, it's been trying to rebuild, right? This thing. And it's been we're going to not say try, right? It's been working through.
Good catch.
It's been working through all of the change and making sure that what I am saying is in alignment with who I am. And it is very much so in alignment with who I am now. Mm-hmm. It's having to rev that engine again. And so my Instagram was really, I didn't really even have to try to bring business in through my Instagram prior to this whole shift. Now it's definitely much slower. I don't get as much traction through there. Even when I'm, posting, I don't post as much in my feed, but I'm still fairly consistent. I don't go really long periods without long without posting. Stories are in there. I show myself more now than I did because I was still not feeling like myself. But there was that. I worked with a marketing agency, and that was just not the route at all. Didn't really get any results from that. And then I just now really started getting consistent with my email marketing, but it's not growing. My list isn't growing. I'm not really promoting anything on there. So that's kind of where the lull is.
Okay. So I want to point out to everyone listening that, well, first I just want to say everyone listening resonates. All the things that people do to build their business, it's a constant experiment, and one thing that I think is interesting, if we think about Instagram algorithms changing and stuff shifting alongside you changing and shifting. So there's a lot of experimentation that goes on. And I think something also that's important to notice is that, be really careful about marketing expenses, because a lot of people will sell you stuff that isn't really helpful until you get something, a funnel system that's working really well. It doesn't make sense to pay money to scale. Right. Yeah. So advertising in a lot of ways, it's like I see people dump a lot of money into stuff before they really have a system that works. And so it sounds to me like, things have pivoted for you. Some of that is probably just due to you completely discovering different parts of yourself and projecting yourself in different ways. And so you're in a discovery process, which means that your avatar is out there in a similar reflection. Right. So with the law of attraction, when you're in a place that's a little confused and maybe we could say scattered brand identity still, where you're going I'm still in transition. It sends the signal out that you're still in transition. And so there's nothing wrong with that. It's the process of building a business. And so, in my my business scaling roadmap, there are 4 zones, and we get stuck on scattered brand identity when we're in zone 2, and we tend to over deliver, undercharge. We tend to not have a clear message. And this is where you don't get to bypass it. It's just part of the discovery process. And so some of it is being easy on yourself and just going okay, I'll figure this out. Some of it, I wonder for you, you said that you're sending emails, and I know you get business through referrals. In terms of attracting new people your way, what do you have in place to attract new people your way? Because that's a really important part of lead gen that a lot of people overlook. They go why isn't my business growing? And then I ask them, what are you doing for lead gen? They're nothing. And so we want to detect that.
Absolutely. One of the, I purchased a book from, he was an old business coach of mine, and in the marketing world and photography. And his book was about breaking your annual goals into quarterly, into monthly, into daily. And it was so great for my brain, right? Because it broke it down in ways that were so easy for me to understand. Yeah. And one of the ways that I really wanted to get myself out there more was to hop on more podcasts, put myself out there more, rebuild that confidence, right? Because it felt like I had it felt like I was finally showing up as me and I wasn't wearing this mask anymore. So I think that I was holding myself back and putting myself out there for my business, right? So that was the number one thing that I wanted to do was get on. I think my goal was 10 different podcasts over 2023.
Nice.
And
awesome.
then I wanted to reach out to local magazine publications, so written articles. I love writing. I absolutely love writing. So that's something that I wanted to do to again build up some more credibility, get my name out there, and then. Honestly, I have an online business, but I actually really enjoy I hosted like events at my gym. And then, friends of friends would come for the gym. It doesn't, it could help my online business if someone wants to work in the online space, and they don't want to actually come in. But I enjoy that. Like I enjoy those types of events. So that's kind of what I would like to do. And I don't know, maybe, at some point, again, I don't want to go into too many directions because I know me, like I want to be hyper-focused, right? But at some point, either starting a YouTube channel or a podcast, something along those lines, but that I think would be further down the line when I really get something like consistently rolling.
Okay. That was very helpful. One thing I want to remind everyone is you can't do lead gen that you hate and think you're going to get amazing results. So you always want to be hearing yourself when you say, like, I love doing this, do more of that. And the thing that you don't need to understand or know the details of in terms of growing your online business, if you go, I am clear that I'm dedicated to growing an online business, I'm going to start taking steps and then trust the universe to show you the way. You still want to start with things you enjoy. So in my mind, I go like, oh, that's awesome. Host events. If you you said you love doing that, host events and then invite people to your online things. What will start to happen is it builds to your online. Do you call it a program? Online program? Okay. Yeah. So then start funneling people that direction. But I mean, I'm telling you, I used to go to all in-person events to grow my business and it grew it online. It grew it in person at first, but then it started to grow it online. And here's the reason why. Lots of women don't want to make the time to come into the gym, right? Or to your place. And so you will meet a certain number of women who come there who are like, no, I just want to do one-on-one, which is fine because it grows your one-on-one. But you will meet a certain number of people coming to your place where you host the events and going like, oh my God, you have an online option? That's awesome. And then they can start referring people to you to the online because you'll start to attract and magnetize online customers your way. So just always listen to yourself when you're like, I love to do this and I hate to do this. Stop doing the shit you hate. Do more of what you love. And I know it sounds so obvious, but all the time we do stuff that we were told to do that we think is going to work because we see it working for other people. And we forget about that energetic component that is the number one thing that attracts easier money your way and more business your way. When you feel good, it's high vibe, which attracts high vibe things your way. When you feel bad, it causes resistance, which repels opportunities away. And so, does that sound like when you host a live event, how many people will show up on average, would you say?
Well, when I've done any type of events, it's always some type of boot camp. I did a boot camp with I think like a mini seminar at some point. At one point I was teaching posing. So it was a posing seminar with, Q&A afterwards. But the boot camp events were my favorite. And it was anywhere from 15 to 25. So not a huge group.
And you would just do like a one-time boot camp?
It would be like a one-time boot camp. And I would do like once a month or once every other month, depending on the season. Okay.
And then do you charge for that event?
Yeah.
Okay. So you charge for that event. Now, what if you had women come to that boot camp and you have some sort of if it were me, I would have did you have anything that you were giving them when they were done?
Yeah, I would put together, I would try to do some type of theme, and then I would put together a little bag that had my information in it. And there was little things in it that were pertaining to the theme of the event.
Okay. And was it an easy way to attract them to an online program?
See, I got in-person clients, but no really online clients through those.
Okay. So, what about this? What if when they come, do you get their information? Like they have to sign in? Okay. Yeah. So then try an email, you do a direct email campaign, not a group email campaign. You directly contact that person and then outline through the hot points and say to them, here's my online program, that type of thing. Because if you're talking about marketing to 25 women who came to a boot camp and got something out of it, the likelihood that a certain percentage of them are going to opt into your online is pretty high. Yeah. In-person sales is by far the best. But that doesn't mean it has to be that you're selling them to then an in-person event or program or product, right? Yeah. So I think that could work beautifully. And then set up a follow-up system and then have a referral system, right? So it's okay, for every person you refer, you get a certain amount of something from me. And play with that. Because I mean, if you can attract 25 people in person, the ratio of people converting into your online would be really high. I've seen it time and time again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, then play with starting to go like, how can I get them to post on like DM online and start to build some connection? And because it sounds like right now for you, Instagram is a little bit stuck. So you want to start getting some like rejuvenation in there, And I would say even like DMing people and in a nice, awesome way, not a gross salesy way, like direct DMing people.
That's always been something that like has been, it's been something that I wanted to work on because it doesn't feel natural to me. That's an area that always felt more icky. Right. And I've worked on, rephrasing things to where it seems, so it doesn't seem like, I'm just popping into someone's DM trying to sell something and,
well, here's a great example, right? Like you're here through us meeting through a DM on Instagram, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Did it feel gross and salesy to you at all?
Not in the slightest.
Right.
Not in the slightest. Yeah.
There you go. So it's like the trick is it's like you're offering something to say, hey, for me, it's my podcast, which is really easy because if someone likes podcasts, then they're gonna be like, sure, thanks for giving me the name of the podcast. And for me, like that's a high percentage of people who respond. And then I just go like, hey, also here's a biz breakdown session option. Lots of people are like, cool, let me come on. And so for you, like I was thinking when you were talking about, I have so many notes here. Let me go back to the names. To the binge cycle, right? You said what was it called? The binge binge restrict cycle. So if that's something that a lot of women you see doing, like you could have just like a 1-minute video that's like pre-recorded. It's called title it the binge restrict cycle and just say tips on how to stop the binge restrict cycle. Send it to them for free in their DM box, give them a few tips and then say, hey, I'd love to talk to you more if this is something that resonates. And then have a link to your Calendly, right? Like we overcomplicate it thinking like it's gross to promote ourselves. It's only gross to promote ourselves when we do it in a gross way.
Absolutely.
Right?
Totally.
So play with some DMing. Like, I mean, I've built my entire business through Instagram DMs, I would say. And a lot of it's been promoting my podcast. So it's like the combination of having something free to offer where there's very low barrier to entry. So I would say you're not going for an opt-in at first. You're just going for like, here's a great tip for you. And what that does is build relationship, right? Then they're like, damn, Ashley's providing me some really nice value. Wow, that's cool. And then they want to interact with you more, right?
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Could you think of a good something that you could offer them in that first introduction DM?
Yeah, absolutely. I have multiple like info, I would call them infographics.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's a great thing.
Some of my that have my personality in it. Me saying like, these are one of the top performing one was probably like these are the top 5 foods that you should eliminate from your diet. And then you go through it and there's humor because I say like olives and I'm like, because they're disgusting. Right. And then I go through and then we get to the end and it's like, guys, you don't have to eliminate these foods from your diet. So it's informative. It's not like a, long form educational thing that's going to take them forever to read, but it's a concept of, hey, you don't have to cut everything out of your diet. That is
perfect, right? Yeah. Because that's going to get them to want to read it. They read it and they see a little of your personality. Then what happens is they start interacting with you more. Then your posts move up in the algorithm. And so it takes a little bit of time, but honestly, with direct approach like that, it really doesn't take that long. And don't be afraid to offer your services and be like, hey, let's have a consult if this resonates with you. Like, lots of people will say yes to that, especially if you just say like, hey, if you're a woman who's struggling with 1, 2, 3, the 3 top pain points you know of, I would love to chat with you about this. Like many people, it's a numbers game, will bite, but they won't be annoyed with you if you give them something for free at first, right? They're not going to be like, oh, you're just a jerk trying to sell something to me. They're going to be like, awesome, you have value. And if the offer resonates, they'll be like, yes. If it doesn't, it might be not right now, right? Yeah. And so it's really about starting the conversation in a way that feels connective. All those superpowers you said, your ability to connect. your ability to empathize, showing up raw and vulnerable, and giving positive encouragement. That's all in that post that we're talking about. That's a great infographic. So that's what I would start playing with if I were you.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. We could talk for a long time. I'm like, oh, now I want to get into money blocks and do all the things. But, tell me for you, what's a great action step that you're going to take away from our time together today?
Absolutely DMing, right? I have that post. It's very easy for me to send that away. I think it's going to be, I have my target market exactly, right? So it's going into those hashtags and finding the women that are in those spaces and sparking those conversations. And then, events, even more online, like virtual online events. I had a really successful one not too long ago, and I love teaching, right? I think that's why I like doing the live events, because it's an opportunity for me to teach.
Yeah.
So incorporating DMs, and honestly, the language around, the things that I want to accomplish. Man, I didn't even recognize how many times I've used that word.
Yes. I've eliminated it from my vocabulary, but it took a while. And I realized too, I'm like, wow, I use that word a lot. And now, all my people I work with, they're always like, oh, darn it, I said trying.
And another word that I use a lot is struggling. And I'm literally putting that into the universe consistently, that I'm struggling. And I'm not going to scale if I consistently say that.
Exactly. So it's like, play with, have you read my book yet? Do you have my book? No. Okay. Here's a shameless plug for everyone. I'm a money magnet. So I'm a money magnet, the top 30 money making mantras to manifest more. So it's 30 lessons. And just like we're talking about, reframes on your mindset to help you break through any of your unconscious money blocks. And there's 100 journaling questions in there to help you start to see these limiting beliefs that we have, that we all get programmed with. So, everyone who wants it, just go to IamAmoneyMagnetBook.com. IamAmoneyMagnetBook.com. It's awesome. But it's exactly like you're saying, we have to unlearn the stuff that has gotten us into this state of playing small.
Yeah.
And that's really what, the Woman Entrepreneur podcast is about, the Biz Breakdown sessions, my book, everything I put out in the world. And I get it, because I used to play really small, And so I see these struggles that we have, and I'm like, screw this. Let's be powerhouse women in the world. Yeah. So you're amazing. Okay. Share with everyone where they can find you, website and socials.
Yes. So my website is www.ashleysoro.com. And then my Instagram is a very short name, at Ashley Soro Lifestyle and Fitness. I'm pretty consistent with my Instagram. So I think that's the only social media handle that I'll talk about, but you can find me both of those places.
Awesome. Okay. And so just for everyone who needs the spelling, Ashley Soro. So it's ASHLEYSORO, and then lifestyle and fitness, all one word. And she's got a whole bunch of awesome stuff there. And hopefully when you message her, she'll hit you back up with a fun infographic on the 5 foods not to eat.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Yes, you are so welcome. Thanks for coming on. And thank you, all you beautiful ladies, for being here. Until next time, I'm sending you hugs and big NFA money making high fives. Hey friends, just a quick reminder that I'm looking for women entrepreneurs who want to do a biz breakdown session with me on this show, just like the one that you heard on today's episode. Think of this as a zone of manifestation audit to help you scale your business and make money more easily. During our recorded session, you'll get free money coaching from me with clear action steps that will help you scale your business more easily. And of course, as a guest on the show, you'll be able to promote your business and get some extra exposure. I'm doing this on a first come, first served basis. So head on over to www.thewomanentrepreneurpodcast.com and sign up for your Biz Breakdown session today.